Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great. Seeing that it seems like finally we are getting out of the pandemic, and it's really exciting. There's a lot of exciting things to be done, a lot of DIYs to do. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this bucket hat, and I used a pattern for this. This is the first time that I'm going to be showing you guys something using a pattern. So it's not a tutorial, it's more like a sew along. So let's get started. So this is my pattern. It's from Mood Society. If you just go, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. So when you print it out, you get 5 pages like this. The first 2 pages are basically just the layout and instructions, and also the sizing guide. So the really good thing is about this is that it is like 8 sizing categories, starting from 1-year-old up to an adult XXL. So the first thing that I did now was to take my pattern pieces, and then so you can just go ahead and start pasting them together, but I noticed that they always have this piece of paper that overlaps onto another, so you can go ahead and just trim your pieces, but this is not really necessary, but I just so you can just do it with a scissors. Or you can use a professional paper cutter like the one that I just showed you now. So this is my paper trimming tool. I also use that sometimes to trim my papers. So after I've trimmed all my papers, I now went on and then I lined them together, and then I went on to now paste them together. I used tape for this, considering that I trimmed all the edges. So I just used some clear tape. So there I'd already taped them up, and then I now went on to cut following the dotted pattern that you will have chosen for your size. If you normally use patterns, you know that when you go to the size, they give you sort of like a guideline with a different kind of pattern for the type of size that you'll be trying to cut. Then I now took out my fabric. This is my printed fabric. It's a very cute pink African print type of fabric. Then I put my pattern pieces on top of my fabric, and then I now went on to cut. So for the crown of the head, the crown is this circular piece. You only need one of that. Then I went on and I cut it out, and then for the brim there is 2 of those. You need to cut 2, and then also for the middle part of the head, the side panels, you also need to cut 2 of each. So as you can see right there, I've cut all my African print fabrics. For the brim I have 2, for the crown I have 1, and for the side panels I have 2. Then I now went on to cut my lining. So I just used my printed fabric pieces, and then I started to pin them on top of my lining fabric. I decided to use this cute pink peach fabric. It's polycotton. And then I started to pin my fabric pieces on top of it. Then I just went on and then I cut it out. So straight after cutting out I would remove the pins from my fabric pieces. I decided to put the fusible lining. Some people call it filing or interfacing, gum stay. It has a lot of names. Then I would just take the lining pieces and pin them onto my interfacing with the shiny side facing up, so that I'll go straight and iron it from here. So there I pinned all my lining pieces onto my interfacing. Then I now went on to cut it out. After cutting out all my pieces, I now went on to iron them, to iron my interfacing onto my lining. I did this for all the pieces, and when I was done, I now started to join all the pieces together. It's like a puzzle, and it's really interesting and fun. So the first thing that I did was the brim. I took the brims of the head. I would take the lining pieces together and the African print pieces together, and then I would put the right sides facing each other and pin on those ends. Then I went on to stitch. After stitching, I opened it up, and then I took my iron, and then I went on to press all the seams open. Make sure you press all the seams. It really makes it easier towards the end. After that, I now took my brim pieces, right sides facing each other again. I now attached the lining together with the printed fabric, and then I pinned them together. Then I went on to stitch on the edge. So there I had stitched, and then I took my scissors and I did these little snips that we normally make when we sew something circular or round before I turned it inside out. After turning it inside out, I went on to press the seams flat again. Then I just went on and I did one row of top stitch towards the edge. Then after that, I now went on to my side panels and I did the same thing that I'd basically done with the brim, joining first the lining pieces on the ends and then the printed fabric on the ends. Then I stitched it. After stitching, I pressed open the seams. And then I now took the side panels and the crowns of the heart and then I now took the side panels and the crowns of the heart and then I attached them together. So I noticed that they did not really align, they did not quite match up. The crowns seemed to be a little bit big, but I just made adjustments and I went along with it and I pinned where I could and then I went on and I stitched right round. After stitching now, I now went on to trim the excess fabric. When you turn it over, you can also go ahead and top stitch, and then I now attached the side panels to the brim of the hat. Then I went on to sew where I had pinned. So at this moment, according to the instructions on the website, they did not really say what you do, or maybe I'm the one who got confused along the way, but I noticed that they didn't really tell us how you now go and hide or close those open seams. So what I would do is I would take that inner piece and then I would fold it over. I would fold it over the brim on the inside and then I would pin. After that, I now went on and then I did a tacking stitch. So there I was basically just tacking so that when I go to stitch on the sewing machine, I would know exactly where I'm sewing. and then I went on to stitch that last part. So when I turn it inside out, this is what the head looks like. There I had done the top stitching on the brim. It looks nice and cute, and at this stage now you can now add your decorations. You can also add some grommets. I don't know why I did not think of that. And then that is it, you guys. It's very interesting. The next time I make another one, probably I would make the brim just a little bit shorter, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.